What if the anxiety you feel isn't a disorder, but an ancient survival system operating exactly as it was designed to?
Take a moment and look around. At this very moment, you're probably safer than 99% of the humans who have ever lived. You likely have a roof above your head, access to food, clean water, protection from predators. And yet,
why does your mind refuse to believe that you're safe? Why is it so difficult to relax when there's no immediate danger? Why do so many people lie awake at night, overwhelmed by worries they can't seem to control? And why is humanity facing unprecedented levels of anxiety, stress, and depression, despite living in the most comfortable era in history? The answer is both simple and unsettling. Your body may be living in the 21st century, but your mind is not. The human brain was not built for modern life. It was shaped over hundreds of thousands of years in a world filled with uncertainty, predators, scarcity, and constant threats. For our ancestors, danger was not an occasional event. It was a daily reality. The individuals who survived were often the ones who expected the worst, the ones who remained alert, the ones who noticed every strange sound in the darkness, every movement in the grass, every possible threat. And those instincts are still alive inside you.
the problem is that the world has changed much faster than the human brain. Today, there are no predators hiding behind every corner, yet your nervous system continues scanning for danger. If it cannot find a lion, it creates new threats. Deadlines, social rejection, financial worries, notifications, endless comparisons. Modern life has removed many of the dangers our ancestors faced, but it has not removed the ancient machinery designed to detect them. In many ways, we are primitive creatures, trapped inside a world our brains were never prepared for. And this mismatch may be one of the greatest causes of the modern mental health crisis. The illness of the modern mind is not weakness. It is an ancient brain struggling to survive inside a world it no longer recognizes. For hundreds of thousands of years, this system worked remarkably well. If one of our ancestors heard a sudden rustle in the bushes, the brain immediately assumed the worst. A predator could be nearby. Within seconds, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline flooded the body. The heart began to race. The muscles tightened. The senses sharpened. This was the famous fight or flight response. Either you escaped the danger, or the threat disappeared within minutes.
The system was efficient because the danger was immediate and temporary. Once the threat was gone, the body returned to normal. But the modern world is very different. There is no predator hiding behind most corners. No saber-toothed cat waiting outside your office. Instead,
Today's threats arrive in a different form. An email from your boss, an unpaid bill, a looming deadline, a negative comment on social media, a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The problem is that your brain does not fully distinguish between physical threats and psychological ones. To your ancient survival system, a threat is a threat, whether it comes from a tiger in the wilderness or a problem in your inbox. And this is where the modern mind begins to suffer. In the ancient world, stress usually lasted minutes. In the modern world, it can last weeks, months, even years. The alarm system that evolved to save your life occasionally is now activated almost constantly. Instead of escaping danger and recovering, many people remain trapped in a continuous cycle of low-level stress. The body stays alert, the mind keeps scanning for problems, and true relaxation becomes increasingly rare. Perhaps this is why modern anxiety feels so exhausting, because in many cases it is not a malfunction, it is an ancient survival mechanism operating in an environment it was never designed for. A Stone Age brain trying to survive inside a modern office. And the longer that mismatch continues, the louder the alarm becomes.
For our ancestors, being rejected by the tribe was often a death sentence. Alone in the wilderness, survival was nearly impossible. Without protection, without cooperation, and without the support of the group, a person could easily become vulnerable to predators, starvation, or the harsh conditions of nature. That is why the human brain evolved to place enormous importance on social acceptance. Being liked, being valued, being included. These were not merely emotional desires, they were survival mechanisms. What other people thought about you could literally determine whether you lived or died. The modern world, however, has created a strange contradiction.
The modern world, however, has created a strange contradiction. We are surrounded by more people than ever before, yet many of us feel more isolated than any generation in history. We no longer live in tribes. We live through screens. The obsession with likes, followers, and online validation may seem like a modern phenomenon, but underneath it lies an ancient instinct. Our brains are still searching for belonging. Still trying to avoid exclusion. Still seeking the approval that once guaranteed survival. And when that approval doesn't arrive, your brain doesn't always recognize that it's only a digital disappointment. At a deeper level, it interprets rejection much the same way it did thousands of years ago. As a threat. As exclusion. As being left behind by the group. The result is a growing sense of loneliness, insecurity, and inadequacy. Surrounded by thousands of digital connections, we may be more connected than ever technologically. But evolutionarily speaking, many of us have never felt more alone.
Modern life promised us comfort, but in many ways it demanded a price in return. It placed us inside a system that often conflicts with the biology that shaped us. A world of artificial lights, endless notifications, constant stimulation, and very little silence. Perhaps it's time to stop blaming yourself. That feeling of restlessness inside you is not necessarily a sign of weakness. It may simply be the voice of something much older.
The ancient human within you. The part of your mind that still longs for the environment it was designed for. The part that still seeks nature, connection, and belonging. The part that keeps knocking against the bars of a cage it never chose. Maybe healing doesn't require more comfort. Maybe it doesn't require more distractions. Maybe what we need is something far older. More time in nature, more silence, more meaningful human connection, and stronger bonds with the people around us. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Goodbye.